Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Welcome to the I Remember Like That Movie podcast. We are now on our way to Christmas. Yay.
Woo!
And our first movie, I had no idea that's how long it's been since I've seen this movie. I had no idea it took place during Christmas. I'm kind of glad it does because I haven't seen it in a while, and I do remember liking it. Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has been years and years and years since I've seen Lethal Weapon. So many years.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's out of the 4 movies, it's the one that have not seen the longest. Like I've seen 2, 3, 4 more, but I haven't seen them in a long time either. I haven't seen any Lethal Weapon in a long time. And because 87 was not really I know I saw Lethal Weapon 2 before I saw Lethal Weapon 1. But what do you remember about Lethal Weapon?
I remember thinking it was funny. And I don't remember because this is literally 20 years since I've seen Lethal Weapon.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think the last time I saw it was like in the late 90s. No joke, when it was on TV at some point. And I remember really liking it, but I remember nothing of the story. Like not even a little, like when it was on the Christmas list, I was like, oh my God, right. It does take place during Christmas.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that. So literally, I remember liking it a lot. I remember finding it really funny. I remember loving Danny Glover in this. Really loving Danny Glover in this. I think he plays the more straight man. So I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
I've got in comedy duos, I have a thing for the straight man. There's just because everything's funnier with them. But I don't remember any of the story, which is so weird.
Yeah, I definitely could tell you a lot more about number 2, 3, and 4 than I can do number 1. Yeah, I know Mel Gibson plays Nutcase.
Yeah.
Not too far off from Mel Gibson.
True story.
And
Mel Gibson, for the record, super problematic and just terrible.
I love Mel Gibson. I don't know him personally, but I love his movies. And I know he said some things.
He said some things.
But I mean, come over to my family's Christmas and watch them have some drinks and listen to the stuff they say. It's alarming.
No. Look, he is very, very problematic in that, he's anti-Semitic, racist.
I thought anti-Semitic was in now.
It is for some people. For the rest of us, not so much. But the thing that really gets me about Mel Gibson, and like I'm taught this, it takes a lot, right? Because I don't offend easily. I'll point out when you're problematic, but I'll still be totally okay watching your movies. FYI, he directed Hacksaw Ridge, one of my favorite movies of all time. I will watch it
great
all
movie.
the time. Love it.
Apocalypto?
So good. I
love
seen that.
Apocalypto. Oh my God, what a great movie.
Yeah. So
Braveheart.
when The Patriot comes on.
Oh, The Patriot.
Yeah, love that movie. Watch it all the time.
Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
He's made a couple okay movies.
Yeah, but he's also super Catholic.
Oh yeah.
And when I say super Catholic, I don't mean like regular super Catholic where you go to church every Sunday and you don't have sex because you're not procreating anymore, or not that kind of super Catholic, like pre-Vatican II super Catholic. We want the masses to still be in Latin. He founded his own Catholic church.
Oh, when you make that much money.
Yeah. So that he and all of his like super old school Catholic, and as someone with Catholic trauma, there was a lot of Catholicism in my life growing up. That is the most disturbing part about it. That's the most. I'm like, nah, man. If you think the Catholic Church today is too like left wing liberal woke, I do not trust your judgment. But really good filmmaker, very
Oh yeah.
talented actor.
He is in one of my, I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Fat Man.
I haven't seen it.
It is a Christmas movie. He plays Santa Claus and
Mm.
Walter Goggins.
That name
the
sounds
sh-
familiar.
Yeah, if you see his face, he's in The Righteous Gemstones. He's in
Oh,
Shield.
him!
Yeah, he's in the
I know
new.
his face.
Yeah, he's in that new science fiction one on Amazon. Oh my god, I just watched
Fallout.
it. Fallout. It's so good. He's amazing. I love Goggins. He's great. But anyways, this movie is about a boy who, I guess, a few years in a row, he keeps getting coal. So
Mhm.
he's from a wealthy family. He hires a hitman, Goggins, to kill Santa Claus, who is Mel Gibson. It is such a great movie. It is.
That
Ugh,
that sounds actually really good.
it's amazing. But yeah, all that aside, personal stuff, Mel Gibson has made quite a few movies I
Yes.
like Mad Max, Lethal Weapons. I mean, the 80s and 90s just ooze Mel Gibson.
It really, really like that was his era. That was
Oh
definitely
yeah.
his era.
And then after he got into directing, and yeah, he's pretty good. Hold on
He's a
one
very
sec
talented
here.
man, and I think he actually did the story of Jesus in Aramaic. I think he was the one who either produced that or directed it. It was like a whole thing. Very niche. Very, very niche. That's how Catholic he is.
And at least he's willing to, I don't know, try, do something that you're passionate about. I don't know.
Yo, I have no qualms about him doing what he's passionate about. Terrifies me what he's passionate about, but very
I just,
talented man.
yeah, yeah, he is. Well, let's take a look at the box office. And also, we got to remember, sorry, give me 1 second. Danny Glover's no slouch himself.
True story.
He's made a ton of great movies as well. So this is directed by Richard Donner,
Mm-hmm.
who again has done a couple of good movies, and he's done a lot of my childhood movie. He directed Goonies,
Oh,
Superman
love
2, Superman. Well, I directed part of Superman 2, then they kicked him off.
Bath.
Yeah, Lady Hawk, The Omen, Scrooged.
Oh,
With
I
Mel
haven't seen
Gibson.
that in forever.
No, I haven't seen that in a long time. Radio Flyer. So he's made a couple good movies.
Just a few.
Just a few of my childhood favorites. So, and it was directed by, written by Shane Black.
Mm.
And if you don't know who Shane Black is, he is a better writer than director, I think. But he wrote one of my favorite childhood movies, The Monster Squad, Lethal Weapon 2, The Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, The Nice Guys, and he did not the new Predator with that takes place in the past, the one with the ensemble.
Predators.
No, it wasn't that one either. It was called The Predator.
I love The Predator.
And that is with Keegan Michael Key,
Yeah.
Olivia Munn, Thomas Jane, Jake Busey. All those people were in it.
I love The Predator. It's one of my favorite comfort movies.
And he wrote the first one, and then he wrote and directed that one.
Mm.
But anyway, so astounding writers, director, cast.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of our favorites is in this movie, Gary Busey. And surprise, surprise, he plays a lunatic.
That is shocking. Shocking, I tell you.
I never really realized how many great movies I watched as a kid that Gary Busey was a part of.
You know
Like,
what? I think he's someone who just like wove himself into the fabric of film,
yeah,
and you don't realize until like long afterwards when you're rewatching a movie and you're like, Gary Busey was in this.
yeah. Because I was like, oh, Point Break. I haven't seen that in a long time. And I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
same.
yeah, Gary Busey was in that. So, yeah,
He was in the Buddy Holly story?
he was Buddy Holly.
What? How do I not? Oh no, you know what I'm confusing him with? The guy who played Buddy Holly in La
I was going to
Bamba.
say Ricky Valens.
No,
Yeah, no,
no,
that was
there's
Lou
the
Diamond Phillips, Anna.
thank you. He played Ricky Valens, but in
I
that
know there was a
movie,
Buddy Holly
there
in that
was a
movie.
Buddy
Yes.
Holly. For some reason in my head, that was the Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story.
Yeah, and the actual Buddy Holly that Gary Busey is in, it was a great movie. And
I know I've seen it. I know I have.
yeah, because
Need
he
to
was in
rewatch that.
Predator 2, which I thought was very underrated. Yeah, Let's Get Harry, Silver Bullet, which we watched. Remember DC Cab?
Oh, DC Cab. Oh,
Uh,
DC Cab.
He was the lunatic bad guy in Under Siege. Yeah, so yeah, he plays the off guy really well.
He really does.
Yeah. All right, so Lethal Weapon
Mm-hmm.
was released May 6th, 1987 on a budget of 15, not 50, $15 million. That's impressive, even for the 80s. That's not that expensive, really. Had a domestic of just over 65 million and an international 55, which is incredible for back then.
Yeah.
This was not a decade where international was really built into your.
No, you didn't expect international ticket sales. That was
No.
not something you counted on.
So it had $120.2 million. So that is huge for 1987, especially on a budget of 15 million.
For reals.
It opened at number 1 in 1,256 theaters, ahead of Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, which was in its second week, Platoon, which was in its 12th, Angel Heart came out that same week, Outrageous Fortune, I remember liking that movie, was in 6th, Some Kind of Wonderful, remember liking that too.
Yeah.
Was in its second week, one of our favorites, Mannequin. Was in its 4th week, Hoosiers in its 17th week, and Black Widow 4th week, Crocodile Dundee. I remember loving Crocodile Dundee.
Me too.
Was in its 24th week. Yeah, it was huge. I remember my parents just
so
went
huge.
nuts over that movie.
I mean, we still say stuff from it. You
Yeah,
call that a knife? This is a
Yeah.
knife. You say that about so much stuff, and most people don't realize today where you would get it from. And you're like, no, guys, Crocodile Dundee.
It was number 1 for 3 weekends in a row, staving off newcomers like Evil Dead 2, Raising Arizona, Heat, and Burglar. It remained in the top 10 for another 10 weeks after that, and it stayed in theaters for 301 days, or 43 weeks, making it the 8th highest grossing movie of 1987, behind Beverly Hills Cop 2, Platoon, Fatal Attraction, Untouchables, 3 Men and a Baby, The Secret of My Success, and Stakeout. I remember loving all movies.
Yeah.
Technically 7th, since Platoon was released in December 1986, and technically 3 Men and a Baby was 5th highest grossing movie in 1987, but made most of its money in 1988 for a total of $167 million, outgrossing Beverly Hills Cop 2, just in case anyone listening is really into box office and thinks I'm wrong. So
you're really
technically
covering all the bases.
Yes. Yeah. 3 Men and a Baby was huge.
Can we watch it? Because
I would love to watch it. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Literally, it's been probably 25 years since I've seen it.
Yeah. Early 90s. Yeah.
Mine was probably late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3 Men and a Little
Disney
Lady.
Plus.
There you go. Yeah, they bought Fox, right? Oh, no, that might be a Disney movie. They're one
No,
of
I
their
don't think it's
other
a Disney
companies.
movie.
Oh, no?
No. Oh, actually, it might be.
Yeah, because they owned Bonavista and stuff. Like, they made Pretty Woman. Like,
oh, Pretty Woman.
Yeah, we won't watch that one. Actually, I remember liking it. Now it's probably been 30 years since I've seen Pretty Woman, but I remember watching it and it wasn't bad. But I mean, it was about hookers.
It's one of the few romantic comedies that doesn't make me want to throw up. Like, there was some realism to it, I'm like, well, yeah. Once people find out you're a hooker, they're going to try and sleep with you
Yeah.
and think you have a price attached to you. And poor Vivian didn't understand. But I mean, it was also something that for some reason inspired a lot of young ladies.
To become hookers.
Well, honestly, to be,
It's probably our OnlyFans started.
I mean, there were a lot of hooker costumes
Yeah, way to go, Julia Roberts.
in the late 80s, early 90s.
Soiled
Thank
the
you.
fabric of our morality.
No, but I mean, also, it just made sex work not more acceptable, but kind of more acceptable because you were like, yo, these are sometimes good people who are just doing what they have to get by. And they don't want to do it all the time. Like, this is not. And then, then there were some people who just like doing it. They were like, I like this life. So it kind of opened up the eyes. But I mean, it's one of the few romantic comedies that doesn't make me roll my eyes so hard it gives me a headache.
And a lot of people forget George Costanza plays a douchebag in it.
Oh, God, such a douchebag.
Jason Alexander.
I think that's kind of why I can't watch him in anything now. Burned into my adolescent mind. He's just a super douchebag.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty dickish in that, I remember. All right, Tale of the Tape. Released on March 6, 1987. It is an action, mystery, and thriller. Not a mystery thriller, a mystery and thriller. Thank God, rated R, 1 hour and 49 minutes.
Okay. Nice. I can deal with that.
Taglines. If these two can learn to stand each other, the bad guys don't stand a chance.
Okay, not terrible, but not great.
Pity the bad guys.
Mr. T is not in this movie.
After 20 years on the force, police detective Roger Murtaugh has come face to face with the most dangerous killing machine in Los Angeles, his new partner.
That doesn't feel tagline-y, but good.
Two cops, Glover carries a weapon, Gibson is one. He's the only LA cop registered as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, too wordy.
Yeah, way too wordy.
Honestly,
you have the right idea.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If he just said he's the only LA cop registered as a lethal weapon and Glover is his holster or something like that, or
two cops, one carries a weapon, one is registered as a lethal weapon.
Perfect.
Chop it down. Yeah, that was too wordy. You're right. That's it.
Well, now that we've revised it, obviously they would have made way more money.
Way more money. Synopsis. Following the death of his wife, Los Angeles police detective Martin Riggs, Mel Gibson, becomes reckless and suicidal. When he is reassigned and partnered with Roger Murtaugh, Danny Glover, Riggs immediately clashes with the older officer. Together, they uncover a massive drug trafficking ring. As they encounter increasingly dangerous situations, Riggs and Murtaugh begin to form a bond. Riggs' volatile behavior might just help them apprehend the criminals if it doesn't kill them both first.
Solid premise.
And here is the original movie poster. It's pretty iconic. It's Mel Gibson and Glover. On the front, it just says Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, two cops. Glover carries a weapon. Gibson is one. He's the only LA cop registered as and then lethal weapon. That's all right.
Yeah. It's pretty solid. And if you had a crush on Mel Gibson, this was the perfect poster for you.
Yeah. Did you see that meme where it's Mel Gibson in the 80s with his hair like that, with a cigarette? And it's like, and it's just every mom watching her kids open presents. Oh, it was good. You have to see it to.
That's a good one.
All right. Let us go to. All right. Rotten Tomatoes. 55 critic reviews comes in at 80%. 250,000 plus audience comes in at 86%.
Oh shit. This
That's
might be
impressive.
great.
Yeah, it might be good. Because no, we watched. What did we watch last week? Yeah, the last couple of movies haven't been that bad.
No. They've been entertaining.
Yeah.
This might actually be a good.
No, this might. Oh yeah, okay.
entertaining
I see what you
movie.
mean. Yeah.
See what I
Entertaining
mean?
and
Yeah.
well done. Yeah.
Yes.
The critic consensus is the most successful installment in a phenomenally successful series. Lethal Weapon helped redefine action movies for the 1980s and 90s. All right.
Awesome.
So let's start with the positive. You may go first.
Implausibility is a large part of the entertainment in this romp par excellence, with each overblown set piece becoming even more Ludicrous. John Marriott, Radio Times, 4 out of 5.
From a distance, Lethal Weapon might appear generic, but a closer look reveals something special. James Berardinelli, Real Views,
Pardon?
3.5 out of 4.
Oh, wow. The pace never slows, the jokes never miss, and the stunts never disappoint in this macho dream of an actioner. Gavin Bainbridge, Empire Magazine, 4 out of 5.
Lethal Weapon is a film teetering on the brink of absurdity when it gets serious, but thanks to its unrelenting energy and insistent drive, it never quite falls. Variety staff, Variety. One never gets credit over at Variety.
Yeah. Granted, the film doesn't feature the most interesting storyline to come across a movie screen, but that doesn't matter all that much because we're having a whole bunch of fun watching the chemistry between Glover and Gibson. Joe Blow's Movie Network, 8 out of 10.
The film is all fast action, noisy stunts, and huge, often unflattering close-ups, but it packs an undeniable wallop. Janet Maslin, New York Times.
That's actually one of my biggest filmmaking pet peeves.
The big close-ups.
Like the big close-ups drive me up the fucking wall, especially if there's no fucking reason for them. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it. Lethal Weapon is big, dumb fun, and often genuinely funny and exciting. It's no sin to enjoy it. Eric D. Snyder, ericdsnyder.com, 4 out of 5.
I'm a guy who is bored by shootouts and chase scenes. I've seen it all, but this movie thrilled me from beginning to end. Wow. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, 4 out of 4.
Damn, Ebert loved it.
That's
It's impressive.
That's getting me excited. Here are the negatives. There were not a ton.
My problem with Lethal Weapon is I did not love the script or the action. Rachel Wagner, rachelsreviews.net, 4 out of 10.
Really, Rachel?
I feel like Rachel was watching for a different thing.
Richard Donner directed with an expert eye for action, but impaired vision for logic. Bob Thomas, Associate Press.
Isn't that most action movie directors?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. What this premise needs is a serviceable plot, but screenwriter Shane Block hasn't provided one. Indeed, for an action thriller, Lethal Weapon is unacceptably slow. Ben Yagoda, Philadelphia Daily News. Damn, Ben.
An action adventure, it's pointlessly puerile. A movie where the heroes are so childish they try to one-up each other with fancy shots at the pistol range. Joanna Steinmetz, Chicago Tribune, 0.5 out of 4. Ooh.
I feel like that's just any man trying to one-up each other with fancy shots at the pistol range.
Yes.
Right? It's not just a childish thing.
No. IMDb, the voice of movie reason, 282,000 user ratings, comes in at 7.6 out of 10.
Oh, a little lower than Rotten Tomatoes.
A little roller, yep. You may go.
A classic, the best buddy cop action movie of all time. 10 out of 10, Ivo Cobra 8.
He might be right. Because as far as buddy cop, I was going to say, really, I'd have a hard time, but with Die Hard, but Die Hard's not a buddy cop movie. Die Hard's a guy on his own movie. So, yeah, he might be right.
He might be.
Might be. We don't know. We'll see. An exciting cop drama, cleverly constructed. 9 out of 10, Nazi fighter David. When I first looked at this and go Nazi, I was like, what the fuck?
We're not that kind of podcast.
But he's a Nazi fighter. He's not a Nazi lover.
See, that's fine. Yeah. You're never too old for this. Beep. 8 out of 10. Hey, Sweden.
Yeah. Because he's too old for this when number 1. Number 4 is done at the end of the 90s. Great 80s action film. 7 out of 10. GW Night Scream.
That seems right. Fairly enjoyable cop buddy film, mainly thanks to great chemistry between the two leads. 6 out of 10. Jimbo 53 186511.
There's those prison guys again. Lethally Stupidity. 5 out of 10. Kenja.
Tell my young self, this movie isn't that great. 4 out of 10. Soul Sale.
Old movies are bad. 3 out of 10. Feast Mode.
Fuck you, Feast Mode. Misfired Weapon. 2 out of 10. Son of Cheese Messiah.
And our 1 out of 10. Looking back, this was a dumb movie. Clear Blue Peace. All right. So we talked about, well, Mel Gibson and his personality, and then we talked about the box office and all the other stuff and the reviews. Let us, if I can get this started, share. There it is. All right. And I got it ready. So good for me. Just let me know if you can hear it.
Yep.
He's a criminal's worst nightmare. A cop who enjoys the danger.
No guns, no jujitsu, just bring him down.
Do you really want to jump?
Well, then that's fine with me. Come on.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait a minute. What the?
He was ready to retire. Now, he's gonna wish he had.
Gun! Oh!
Raj, meet your new partner.
New partner. Too old for this.
But these guys can just stand each other.
What you got in there? 4-inch Smith? A lot of old timers carry those.
The bad guys don't stand a chance.
Don't kill anybody. Don't kill anybody. I'm too old for this.
Are you as good as you say you are?
Nobody can touch me.
Suppose we better register you as a lethal weapon.
You ever met anybody you didn't kill?
Well, I haven't killed you yet.
All right. There's our trailer. So what is your predictions on Lethal Weapon?
My prediction for my memory is that I'm going to love it. My prediction from that trailer is I'm going to hate it. Because that was a shitty trailer.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest trailer. It wasn't.
No.
Yeah, maybe they reinvented. They didn't reinvent the trailer yet.
No, they hadn't figured out how to do trailers yet. They
But
were
yeah,
still working it like a commercial for product.
Yeah. I think it wasn't the greatest trailer. Yeah, no, I think I'm really gonna like it. I have not seen this in so long. I
Same.
didn't see Gary Busey there, but I know he's in there somewhere. Yeah, and I remember it being funny. I keep thinking Joe Pesci, but he doesn't come till number 2, where it's like the.
I thought he was in this one.
No, and he's in number 2. They get him as a what is it? They're protecting him because he's supposed to.
Oh,
go to court.
right.
And then the one where Murtaugh is sitting on the toilet, there's a bomb underneath him. And I keep
Yes,
thinking
yeah.
of all this other stuff and Chris Rock, and that's in number 3 and 4. And I don't remember a lot about this movie, but I think I'm going to like it.
Well, my memory says I loved it.
Yeah.
So if I'm going off my memory, I'm going to love it. However, I've now watched the trailer and I'm like, I remember it being better than that.
Yeah. The trailer wasn't the greatest.
Oh, now
but
I'm
the
questioning things.
reviews.
But the
kinda
reviews were
have-
awesome.
The reviews were awesome. So yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
going to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go watch Lethal Weapon from 1987. Yeah. And when we come back, we're going to review it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
There it is.
Accurate. My mom had more helmet hair, but I knew a lot of moms who had that hair.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
So many.
Did you watch the 1987's buddy cop extravaganza Lethal Weapon?
I did.
Your initial thoughts?
Not as funny as I remember.
No?
No. Like, I kind of smiled a lot. There were a couple, yeah. But there were no, like, big laughs, and I remember big laughs, and I think my memory let me down. But I mean, it was fun. It was a really solid 80s action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
I had a lot of fun watching this. All of my memories, like almost all of them, before I sat down to watch this, were from other Lethal Weapon movies. So this was pretty fun. Like, it's not a perfect movie, and it was not as politically incorrect as I was hoping.
True story. Yeah, I wasn't offended.
No, there was nothing that way. So well.
Yeah.
But and like okay, that's the Joe Pesci one. I sat down again thinking he was gonna pop up. And most of everything that happens in this film, totally implausible. You don't jump off a building with a guy threatening suicide, shoot and kill multiple people days in a row, and just go to work the next day.
Go to work the next day. Never have to fill out any paperwork. There's no paper, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 80s and men were still men. But yeah, set aside, it was written well. It was well paced. The action was great and
action was amazing.
It was funny. You're right. It wasn't like laugh out loud funny. It was amusing.
Yes. Perfect word.
Yeah, and it developed the characters pretty good.
Yes. And here's the thing, like, there was a lot more character development than I remember there being.
Yeah.
So you see their chemistry build.
Well, that's what I did make a note, and I said I can't state this enough. The chemistry between Gibson and Glover is off the charts.
Well, it's so funny because it really, like, you're watching it and you're like, you can see as the movie goes on, their chemistry just meshes even more, and it becomes almost seamless. And you see the point where they become the buddies in the buddy cop movie. Like, you see that and you're like, oh, they did that really well.
Yeah, and actually they really did do that very well.
They did. Because it's not, because you know how sometimes, like, it makes a lot of sense in this movie because they start out kind of being adversarial.
Yep.
Like
typical.
Like, Murtaugh doesn't want anything to do with Riggs. He's like, this is not my kind of cop. I don't want a partner. I just want to, like, ride this out. Like, just let me, I want a nice, calm life. And as shit starts to happen, him and Riggs, like, they butt heads, but they also start to understand each other, and it's slow. And by the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, they're besties. When did that happen?
Yeah.
It just sort of, like, organically happens. And you're like, that was really good, guys.
Yeah. And you don't get that chemistry very often. Like, you get movies where they're really good and there is chemistry there, but you don't get this level. Like, I want to say, I don't even know, like, Nice Guys, Bad Boys, 48 Hour, like, but there's other movies like 21 Jump Street and Rush Hour and Last Boy Scout. They're good. They're great movies. They don't have this chemistry is pretty rare. Like, they were like perfect.
Because there's, like, when you mentioned Bad Boys, they had Martin Lawrence and Will Smith had incredible on-screen chemistry.
Yeah.
But it's like they hit the road going 100 already.
Yeah.
This is a very different premise. Where it's
yeah.
like they have to hate each other, but by the end of it, you're like, they're buddies. Like, they are besties. They understand each other and they are partners.
And they earned it.
They earned it.
Yeah.
And to do this well takes a lot of talent.
Yeah, because Bad Boys, they're already
best friends.
Yeah, already best friends. Yeah.
Like, practically family. They've been partners for years. So it's a very different, like, setup for this kind of setup where it's almost, I don't want to say enemies to besties. Crazy to semi-sane. And then sane to semi-crazy. Like, this is, it was very well done, and it's the performances of Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Murtaugh was funny. Gibson
Yeah.
was almost superhero in disguise, and you're waiting for him to be full tilt. I will say, like, The Heat with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, yeah,
That
good
was
one.
good. That was I don't know why there was never a sequel, like send them to Europe or Mexico or something. I don't know. But yeah, I did not remember a whole lot, and it made viewing this better. It
Yeah.
was well done. Okay, well, let's go over Lethal Weapon. And I can't believe I never added this to a Christmas watch. Christmas is all over this movie. Like, no snow, but
Yeah, well, LA.
yeah, lights and Christmas trees and decoration and Christmas
Yeah.
music throughout the whole thing. Like, it started with Jingle Bell Rock with
Buddy Helms?
Bobby Helms, yeah.
Bobby Helms.
And ends with Elvis, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Also, did you know Eric Clapton did music? I saw that in the credits, and I was like, "Does that say Eric Clapton?"
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was
Oh, it
watching
makes
it.
the guitar. Yeah, it was all
Yeah,
guitar.
I was as I was reading the credits while Jingle Bell Rock was playing, I was like, "Eric Clapton did the music? What?"
Yeah, because it wasn't orchestra. It was all guitar.
Yeah,
riffs and
it was
stuff,
him
yeah.
and other people. Like, he didn't do it solo. But I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize he was on this."
That's kinda
Oh.
cool. I like Eric Clapton.
I do and I don't.
Following the recent death of his wife. Okay, wait. Okay, it actually starts. It starts with titties. Yes,
Honestly,
thank
every
you.
time titties show up, I'm like, "Titties for Jimmy."
And did we recognize those titties?
I did not recognize those titties.
That was Kelly from Cheers, Woody's girlfriend and wife. That was the
Oh my
actress.
god, now that you say that, you are so right.
Yeah.
Because I recognized her
The
face.
Yeah, the face. Yeah, it
And I
was
was
one of
like,
those
"Where
things.
do
Like,
I know you from?"
Yeah, I know you. I know those titties.
Also, God bless the titties had tan lines.
Yes.
I was like,
Well,
"That
LA.
is 1980s LA. Thank you."
So a young woman is obviously high out of her gourd, is laying on the bed, surrounded by drugs, and her boobies are just laying there going, "Hey, how's it going? Getting ready for Christmas?" Unfortunately, those titties take a dive off the top of a high-rise building. And I'm like, no.
Although, the
This
way
was a
they
great
did that
scene,
fall,
though.
that was so good.
Yeah, for
So
an
good.
87 movie, this had some kick-ass stunts.
Right?
That was a great, because you get the point of view looking down, the fall back and forth, and then from inside
the rushing of the building past
Yeah.
the view, and then you see her land.
Yeah.
First, just as she's about to land on the car, they
Yeah, so
switch
it's like
the
she's
POV to being in the
inside.
car.
Yeah, that was cool. And then the
Oh.
whole impact of the car.
I was like, "Dude, that was well done. Guys, amazing." And Jimmy got to see titties.
Yeah, and then it pans up from the accident. I'm like, "Oh, thank God the titties are fine." Whew. I mean, the person they're attached to is dead. But the
She was
boobies,
dead.
not even a scratch. I paused
But
it. I
very
checked it.
artfully lying on top of that car.
Yeah. Yeah, she was killed
Amazing.
instantly.
Yes.
There wasn't a whole lot of what's that word? Oh my God.
Her brain should be splattered everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, she didn't suffer.
She's super dead.
And then we open with the most honest looking middle class piece of shit street I have seen in a movie. Like, because it's either ridiculously not middle class or like the projects or the trailer park, depending on the color of your skin. This looked like my neighborhood, where it was kind of there are leaves on the road. It wasn't really it wasn't perfect. It was a real street.
It was a
Which
real
was
middle
nice.
class neighborhood, because even when they're like, "Oh, it's just a regular middle class suburb," and then you see these houses that are like 6-bedroom houses, and you're like, "Who?
Yeah.
Who's middle class that lives there?"
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Hollywood, for pointing out another poor life choice I made by not getting in one of these houses. And I loved the one small Santa sleigh on their house, on Murtaugh's house. Didn't even have any reindeer. It's like they had a set years ago, and this is the only piece that survived.
Yep.
Yeah. Just sitting there in the middle of the fucking roof and nothing else around.
That also feels super honest, because once you walk into the house, you realize this is not a picture perfect family.
Oh no, it's a disaster. Yeah.
There are walls missing, like you see the studs.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot. And then apparently the mom can't cook, and everybody accepts it. And everybody's like, "No, you're terrible. Please stop cooking." And she's like, "No, we're gonna keep cooking."
I did not like the whole family coming in while he was in the bath.
That
That felt
okay.
weird.
As soon as I saw him in the bath, I was like, "Oh, I remember this."
Yeah, that was uncomfortable even for like.
So uncomfortable. First of all, who takes a bath in the morning?
Yeah,
That just seems wrong. Baths are time consuming. There is no way to take a quick bath. So if you're doing that in your morning rush getting ready for work,
it
there's
was his
already something wrong
birthday.
with you.
Yeah,
Sorry?
it
No,
was his
no.
birthday.
You take a bath at night
Yeah.
with your wife
I don't think
on
I
your
ever took a
birthday.
bath in the morning. I don't
I
take
would
baths
never.
regularly, anyways. But
Well,
yeah,
I like a bath, but my baths are more they're not for bathing, they're for relaxing. So I will take a shower before I have a bath because
Mm.
I'm like, I'm not gonna put dirty body in water and just like steep my dirt.
yeah,
That's
just
weird.
soak in your own filth.
Right? It's odd. So anyways, first of all, bath in the morning, super weird. Also, he had bubbles in that bath, also odd. Everybody busts into this bathroom
Yeah, like it was normal.
and everybody is all just, "Hey, let's," and he makes no move to
No,
cover his junk.
nope.
He's just they're singing happy birthday, there's a cake, he's laughing, "Hey."
Oh, they're bending
His
over the
hands are
thing,
yeah,
hugging
they're
him, and
bending
I'm
over
like,
the thing, hugging him, kissing him.
yeah.
Like,
Ugh,
and I was like,
ugh.
and look, I know it is perfectly natural for parents to kiss their kids on the lips. It happens. I get it.
Yeah.
We were not a lip kissing family. I do not judge lip kissing families because everybody shows their love differently. I don't really care. However, when your father is naked in the bath,
Yeah,
maybe
don't
you
kiss
don't
him on the
lean over
lips.
and kiss him on the lips.
It's
It's
weird.
there's a weird vibe to that. So I was like, that entire scene just made me super uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was never that close with my family, thank God. Even now, the 7-year-old, if I forget to close the bathroom door, she's like, What are you, a pervert? Close the door."
Right on. Right on.
Now
I'm
it's
also a
your
firm believer that bathroom doors should be closed at all
yeah,
times, even if
yeah,
you're home alone. I'm like, close the door. Close the
yes,
door. It's bathrooms are private time.
yeah, yeah. She'll accuse you of being a bum looker. I taught her that one.
A bum looker.
A bum looker, yeah, from Mike Myers, Saturday Night Live.
Ah,
Okay, following the recent death of his wife, Los Angeles Police Department LAPD Narcotics Sergeant Martin Riggs, a former Special Forces soldier, has become suicidal and erratic. Despite the protests of the police therapist, she was very familiar too. The captain
yeah.
believes Riggs is faking his psychosis to forcibly retire with a generous pension and partners him with fellow war veteran and seasoned homicide sergeant Roger Murtaugh. Riggs and Murtaugh do not get along well at first, and Murtaugh is equally dismissive of Riggs' mental state, but is eventually convinced Riggs is true suicidal. Okay, let's go back a bit. So we see Murtaugh, he turned 50, he's feeling old. Actually, he looks great. I remember I saw a meme or something where Carol Connor was like 47 when he started All in the Family.
Oh, wow.
He looks 70. Red Fox was like 49. I think he looked like he died the year before the show started. So Murtaugh, not doing so bad.
He's not doing so bad. And
No.
he starts the movie off with a full beard, and then I think it's
Cuts
his
it, shaves
daughter is like,
it. Yeah, it's
"Your
looking a
beard's
little
going
gray.
gray." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well then let's get rid of the beard and just go with a mustache." And then he was the Danny Glover I know and love.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
before
was.
that, it didn't even him with a full beard didn't
Yeah, it
even
didn't
look
look
like him.
like it. Yeah, no, it's with that mustache, there was no denying who that was.
Yes.
Then his wife tells him a Hunsucker called for him, and it turns out to be an old war buddy from them. Then we get a naked Mel Gibson waking
Yes.
up, lighting a cigarette, opening a beer. Again, kids, different times.
Also,
in his trailer on the
I
side
would
of
like
the road by
I
the
would
beach.
right? I was like, "This is actually a really sweet setup," but what's the septic situation? Like, that was my only concern.
Yeah,
I was
you'd
like,
have
"Do you
to
have to
empty it
empty
sooner
out
or
your
later.
own?"
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, I don't wanna do that." Like, if you had a septic hookup, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's live like that."
oh yeah, just right
Um,
on the beach,
right on the beach. I was like, "Is
door
this
wide
legal?"
open, dog coming
Um,
in.
hey man, if he's happy, I'm happy for him. He gets out of bed naked, and I was like, "Oh, how refreshing. There's hair on his butt."
Yeah, it was the
That
80s.
was that was my first thought. I was like, "That's amazing." This
Yeah,
was before the butt waxing.
yep,
This was before when men could have hair on their butts.
yeah, yeah. Nice big hairy butt.
It was a
Uh
very nice butt.
yeah, it was yeah, he worked out. Then we go back to Murtaugh. He goes to a scene of the crime where the boobies died at the start of the film, and a prostitute had just made a statement. Murtaugh lets her go, and
Mhm.
he finds out the boobies belong to the daughter of his war buddy, and that's actually an important piece of information to the movie. Back to Riggs or Gibson is at a tree lot selling Christmas trees. They're selling and he's trying drugs with these drug dealers, and he's like, "I'll take it all." And they're like, "Awesome, 100." And this was pretty funny where he starts counting out 20s and 10s.
Like 95, 96.
And they're like, "What
hey,
the fuck are you
and
doing?"
he's like, I'm counting.
Yeah.
97. Hold on. I think
they're like 100,000. And then he's like, I can't afford that. And then he shows them the badge. And they're like, "You're insane. That's not real." And then we get the Curly impression from the Three Stooges. And then he just starts blasting people.
Yeah. He just goes for it. And
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. The Three Stooges thing felt a little out of like extra weird crazy. But I was like, are you just establishing that like
you're nuts?
he's nuts? Like, is that what this is? Because it still feels weird. But I'm like, good for you. It works. We know he's nuts, but also a really good cop.
Yeah.
It's a great, like, no, he's a really good cop, but completely off his rocker.
Yeah. And actually, I made the same note you did. It says, it looks like being a cop was not as hard in the 80s. They didn't bog you down with paperwork or mental health issues.
Yeah. You could just go around like arbitrarily just shooting people.
He killed 5 people.
And everybody's like, cool, high five.
They're like, okay, we're going to transfer you. You get a promotion.
Let's go back to the office. Let's partner you up with someone.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to give us your gun and let us finish an investigation so we can rule that this was justified shooting. No. We're just going to let you like grab a donut and go back to the office.
Yeah. And there were no witnesses that saw it happen. So it's like, it was his word.
Yeah, the cop showed up. His backup showed up after, and they're like, "What?" He's like, "We got one left."
Yeah, there's only one left.
What the fuck?
You're missing out. I got them all. He probably won all the Easter egg hunts. Yeah, I got them all. There's only one left.
He won all the toys at the state fair.
And then we get then we have Riggs sitting in his trailer watching the Christmas Looney Tunes, looking at his dead wife, debating on whether or not to eat a bullet. This was sad. This was actually a powerful moment. Again, a lot of character development, kind of show you where he's at, where Murtaugh is at, family man, where he wants to retire. He's getting old. They do a really good job at it. And they haven't even met each other yet.
Yeah, that's the most amazing part. You get full like portraits of who these characters are.
Yeah.
And they're snapshots. They really are. They're quick, but they're very informative.
Yeah.
So you know where everybody's coming from before they've even met.
Yeah, just enough to give you that inside information. The next day, another detective is going over the case with Murtaugh, and he's told he's getting a new partner, a real burnout from narcotics. I can't remember what he said. Murtaugh notices Riggs at the station, and he looks suspicious, and then he sees a gun in Riggs' coat and yells gun. This was a great scene of Murtaugh running, yelling gun, and Riggs pulls out his gun and it's looking around like, where's the bad guy? Until he's almost right on top of him.
Because you just see Murtaugh like kind of clock Riggs down the hall.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's odd. And he like gets up from his desk and he goes towards the door and he's talking to, I think it's Boyette. And so he's talking to him, but keeps looking out the door and keeps like sliding halfway out the door. And he's like, what? And then he yells gun and then he gets dropped.
Yeah, gets flipped over. Where are we here? Murtaugh tries to disarm Riggs, who just flips him over and lands him on the floor. The other detective's like, this is your new partner. And that's where you get the I'm too old for this shit. Murtaugh is contacted by a former Vietnam War friend, Michael Hunsaker, ostensibly. Okay, yes. To help his daughter Amanda escape her life of prostitution and pornography, but Amanda kills herself by jumping. Yeah, this is actually where Wikipedia starts. Jumps from an apartment balcony before he and Murtaugh meet. Her autopsy shows she was fatally poisoned with tainted drugs, indicating she was potentially murdered. Now, before Wikipedia continues, we get a drug buyer meeting the general, and the buyer is the very underused actor Edo Ross, our bad guy, the Russian from Red Heat. He meets Mr. Joshua, and he's like, "You guys are fucked."
He was very vocal about how fucked they all were, but I'm like, sir.
Yeah, you're about to.
You were
these are the wrong
surrounded by
people.
them.
Yeah.
In a very secluded place.
Yeah,
with
it's not like
no
they're
witnesses.
unionized. Yeah, like
right.
I wouldn't be, shooting my mouth off that much.
I would not be mouthing off like that.
They just
either.
showed you they were nuts.
Yeah,
Burning
he's just
Mr.
like, you guys are
Joshua's
crazy.
arm. Yeah.
Like, cute. No, well,
I'll
as soon
still
as I
buy your
saw-
heroin, but you guys are really fucked.
Yeah, we're still gonna do business.
Yeah, we're still good.
But you're batshit crazy. Like,
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah, you're not
It's
getting
funny,
a Christmas card.
when I saw Gary, I was like, Gary Busey.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he looks so clean cut.
Yeah,
Maybe
very
that's why I
stunted.
don't remember him from this.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't
'Cause I-
nuts. Well,
he wasn't.
I mean, he
well,
was.
his hair wasn't all over the place. He wasn't wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, you're
He
wearing a
wasn't
suit.
spewing
and
off
you're-
politically incorrect rhetoric.
that too. His hair was coiffed, so I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Gary Busey, hey, how's it going?" And then he goes in the burning of the arm, and I was like, "Oh, crazy!
There
Yeah,
is
he's
crazy.
so crazy."
Yeah. And he gets even crazier near the end.
Oh God,
Goes all
yeah.
full Busey. Then we get a call about the jumper, and this is where we get the "you want to jump, let's jump." I did like this scene because Murtaugh, and I like how Murtaugh was always bitching about him because he thinks he's crazy, that he's not gonna let him drive because he's suicidal, and then Riggs said, I have experience with jumpers, so he goes up, and that whole scene was pretty funny. And then Murtaugh loses his shit, and they have this big argument again. More character development.
Yeah, Riggs, if I'm not mistaken, Murtaugh is like, "I have a gun if you want a gun, like, if you wanna off yourself," and Riggs is like, "Yeah, I want it," and he literally had the gun. He was pulling the trigger, like,
Yeah, he had to put his
back.
finger in the hammer.
Yeah, he was ready for it, and
And he's like, "You
Murtaugh
are
stops him.
crazy."
He's like, "Man, you really are."
Crazy
Like,
white boy.
he's like, "Well, shit. This is gonna," he's like, "Well, I can't, like, just," and that, I think that's one of the shifts, I think, where Murtaugh starts to have kind of empathy for him.
Yeah.
Before, he was just the random crazy dude. Now he's like, "Well, shit, he must be really going through some stuff if it's not just like the doctor saying, 'Oh, he's suicidal,' and everybody being like, he's doing it to claim like his pension or whatever." And then Murtaugh's like, I don't think he's faking it.
Yeah.
He's real serious about this.
Then Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to question her pimp, but are assaulted after finding drugs on the premises, forcing Riggs to kill the pimp to save Murtaugh's life. This was a great scene. So Murtaugh is like, "See, I shot him in the leg. Now I question him." But then Riggs has to blow him away to save Murtaugh's life.
Yes.
That's where Murtaugh's like, "Have you not met a person you've never killed?" And he's like, "I haven't killed you yet." So
that one made me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie. That line made me chuckle because he was like, "See, I can do this," and then he like blasts him away, and then it's like, have you met a person you haven't killed yet? It's like, I haven't killed you yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, beautiful.
And I think, is this where they go into the house where they go to visit and go for dinner, or is that later on?
Yes.
Yeah.
He brings him home
Because he saved his life, and
yes.
Yeah, he's like coming,
but they're all wet.
Yeah.
And they have to go
they
dry.
change. Yeah.
They change and whatever, and then they go home for dinner, and then that's when Riggs kind of gets a little glimpse into the family Murtaugh. And is it Trish, the daughter who has like a super crush on it? Rihanna.
Yeah.
Super crush.
Yeah. On
Old Mel. And it's adorable.
Yeah.
Weird, but
because they're on the boat and they have dinner and everything. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a nice like family, like this is what normal looks and feels like. And you see Riggs kind of easing into it and laughing with them and enjoying it. So you're like, oh, look at him not be suicidal by himself in his trailer. That's nice.
Yeah. Their final lead is Dixie, a prostitute who witnessed Amanda's death. That's the one who gave the statement at the beginning, and whom the pair believe may have poisoned her. So they come up with this theory at the shooting range, where we see that while Murtaugh is a pretty good shot, Riggs is a lot better.
Correct.
Because Murtaugh puts that bullseye right through the head, and then Riggs puts the sheet paper right to the end of the shooting range, and then shoots a smiley face.
I know. And Murtaugh's like, well, fuck me. What the
And
fuck?
that, we also learned that Riggs was a sharpshooter in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
That blew me away. If I keep mentioning that they were in the Vietnam War, I'm like, oh
know.
my God.
I was like, Vietnam, Jesus Christ. And then I realized, I'm like, because
87, that's not that.
Murtaugh mentions he's been a cop for 20 years. So I'm like, and he just turned 50. So I was like, so he became a cop at 30?
Because he was in the war before.
Because he was in the war before. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
I'm like, I was playing in the yard and these lunatics were fucking walking around the street. Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
And then they come up with the theory that if the prostitute who killed Amanda then stuck around, gave a statement as a witness just so she didn't seem suspicious, but they were both like, that theory is stem. So they arrive at Dixie's home. It explodes.
It explodes real big.
Yeah, it's
after
a good one.
The
I love
kids
the
in
little
the neighborhood
kids cheering. Do it again.
Well, also they started chanting, but as they started walking towards
Oh, yeah.
Dixie's house, like Dixie's gonna get busted or picked up or whatever, and I
Yeah.
was like, amazing. And they're just chanting it. You're like, man, I love this.
Riggs locates components of mercury switch explosives among the debris, a specialty explosive he recalls being used by the CIA mercenaries in Vietnam. The suspect is detailed by neighborhood children who noticed he had an elite special forces tattoo similar to Riggs. And
Identical to Riggs.
Yeah, identical. And
I think
there's
it's that exact one.
Yeah. And then Riggs explains this is special forces, blah, blah, blah. These aren't your normal everyday thugs. So suspecting Hunsucker is withholding information, Riggs and Murtaugh visit at Amanda's funeral. He reveals that during the Vietnam War, he worked for Shadow Company, a defunct CIA paramilitary unit tasked with destabilizing the local heroin trade. Following the war, the ex-CIA agents, mercenaries, and soldiers involved reformed Shadow Company as a criminal organization and began shipping large quantities of heroin from Asia to the United States under the leadership of retired General Peter McAllister and his right-hand man, Mr. Joshua. See, this is what happens when you don't take care of your soldiers after wars and just leave. They just go off and do something. This is what they do. They go off and do something. Usually
they
not
do something
good.
and they use the skills that you've given them.
Yeah. What else are they gonna do? Work at fucking Walmart? Jesus. Hunsacker's role as a banker allowed him to make the illicit funds seem legitimate. He initially called Murtaugh to confess and turn witness against Shadow Company, but McAllister had Amanda killed in retaliation. And then here's Busey. Josh arrives in a helicopter and kills Hunsucker before escaping. That was pretty good too.
That was amazing, but it was so fucking dramatic.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, and this is what I mean by a solid 80s action film.
What a great shot from the helicopter.
There's nothing better than a helicopter coming out from seemingly nowhere.
Yeah.
And shooting up the place, because you would have heard the helicopter.
Yeah.
Before it arrived, but no. It was dead silent, and then all of a sudden it rises, and you're like, that's a helicopter.
And I think he got him on the first shot, didn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
And
it shot through the eggnog.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
Because I remember watching Vietnam, not movies, like Vietnam documentaries.
Yeah.
And soldiers on these helicopters unloading on the Viet Cong below and hitting no one. Absolutely nobody.
Those are the ones whose hearts weren't in it. They were like,
yeah. Yeah.
See if we can, how many people can we miss? How many people?
So Joshua arrives in a helicopter, kills Hunsucker before escaping. He later attempts to kill Riggs in a drive-by shooting, but the latter is saved by his bulletproof vest. Riggs' death is fake to give the pair an advantage. All right, that was good too, yeah. Concerned Murtaugh knows too much. Shadow Company kidnaps his daughter, Rianne, and forces Murtaugh to meet at El Mirage Lake. So Murtaugh realizes they know where he lives. They rush home to get a note, and they get a note saying they got his daughter. Riggs, the ever party favorite, is like, they're going to kill her. And Murtaugh's like, are you as good as you say you are? And he's pretty good. I've never seen a sharpshooter shoot and kill that many people from that far away. That was pretty impressive.
From that, heart shots.
Oh, yeah.
All of them. Heart shots.
Yeah. And different, from one stationary spot, killing people left, right, center. Yeah.
Yep. People who are jumping on cars.
Yeah,
and he's just laying there,
just laying
taking
there,
his shots.
pinking them, just picking
Yep.
them all off.
80s action movie.
Yeah, like the scenes are ridiculous, but they are awesome to watch.
They
Great.
are.
Yeah, they're
No,
awesome.
it was like super not it's not realistic,
No, not at all.
but it's so entertaining.
Yeah, and then we see the daughter Rianne doing what a
Mhm.
typical teen would do, just standing there and screaming.
Of course.
That's what I would be doing.
That is what you would be doing.
It is.
Yeah.
The general gets the drop on Riggs. Murtaugh finally surrenders, and a great helicopter chase that gets the daughter who drove away
Yes.
in the car. That was pretty good too. Yeah, I just kept thinking 15 million, eh? Fucking there. You had some fucking accountants taking care of everything. Like
Yes.
yeah, you had some good producers here. Holy shit. And it was Joel Silver.
Oh, yeah.
That did everything from Lethal Weapon to The Matrix. So Riggs provides Wikipedia provides sniper support to help Murtaugh and re-escape, but all three are captured and recovered to a nightclub basement. A shadow company front. Riggs and Murtaugh are tortured for information until Riggs escape, kills several shadow company members, and frees Murtaugh and Rianne. So Crazy Busey brings in his friend, an 80s and 90s staple. Hold on, I wrote it down. Al Leong.
Yes.
Yeah, who plays Endo, but he's been in any action movie that requires an Asian person. He's one of the guys that is there. He's been in so many movies.
He's one of the action Asians.
Yeah.
And
he starts electrocuting Riggs, who's tied up and under running water. And with water everywhere, only Riggs is feeling the effects of being electrocuted. I don't know how that worked, but
well, okay. I think at one point it looked like almost like he was in a mop sink. You know, the ones that come out from the floor. So I'm like, maybe they're just putting the electricity directly into that water.
Maybe.
Yeah. That was my logic.
Could
that
be.
was my one and only time, because I was like, that's a lot of electricity. That's a lot of water. And then I saw kind of like a little rise at his feet, and I was like, I'm sure that's a mop sink. It must be. We're gonna run with that.
Although Joshua escapes, Murtaugh kills McAllister. Yes, the general disappears. They both first Riggs gets the drop on Endo by jumping up and snapping his neck. The general disappears. They both chase Joshua. Murtaugh starts to slow down and can't keep up and kind of just
I mean, he is 50 after all.
Yeah. But Riggs is like, fuck yeah, he's running with bare feet, no shirt, fully automatic machine gun. And what does Gary Busey do? Exactly what you think Gary Busey would do, whether in a movie or just the real Gary Busey having a bad day. He unloads a fully automatic machine gun into a crowd of people. I'm like, there's Gary Busey. Because I could see Gary Busey, and someone would be like, Gary, I don't think you could do that. I think you might be in trouble. And as they turn to look at Gary Busey, he's already disappeared into the shadows.
Correct.
And all you hear is, I have a really good lawyer. And he's gone. Deducing Joshua will seek revenge at Murtaugh's home. Riggs and Murtaugh ambush him. Riggs defeats Joshua in a brawl. This was actually pretty good because Joshua gets there, breaks into the house, and then there's a thing saying, "Dear bad guys, we're gone."
The family is gone. Only good guy. Only thing here are cops.
Yeah,
the good guys. And
then the car comes right through.
Yeah, right through the front of the house. I'm like, you're telling me you couldn't just open a door?
Yeah,
or have people hiding behind the couch?
Yeah,
you gotta. The man's house was already a hot mess. Why you gotta ruin it even more? But there's nobody in the car when it comes through.
No.
Which was amazing because he's looking for the person. He starts shooting at the car and there's nobody there. And then that's when he gets taken down and we're all very happy about it. He gets taken outside. There's helicopters. There's things. He's ready to still fight, apparently. Murtaugh's got him. And then Murtaugh disappears. And then they start hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, they do. And
Riggs
30
and
cops.
Joshua.
Yeah, and Murtaugh's like, it's okay, I'm in charge. I'm like, I don't think
just let them do this. But... You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like it's the literal like epitome of on site.
Yeah.
So and it's amazing, but also the weirdest thing ever. Like all of a sudden, a cop and a criminal who's already been apprehended, is all like, "Yeah, bitch, let's go,
Yeah.
square up." Like, what the fuck,
Well, I was kind of like, what do you think you're gonna do if you win? Like, they're not gonna let you go.
right? Like, just take it on the chin, like get in the handcuffs,
Yeah.
and go to prison.
Was
But
a good
no,
fight.
it was a good fight.
Yeah, because
I'll
it
give you that.
wasn't one-sided. It wasn't all Mel Gibson. It was.
Mhm.
It did go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then actually, Murtaugh tells him to kill him, and it was Riggs that said that it wasn't worth it. So
The classic, "You're not worth it."
police officers take Joshua into custody, but he breaks free, takes an officer's gun, attempts to shoot Riggs and Murtaugh, and the pair return fire and kill Joshua. Yeah, they both do it at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah. Short time later, after visiting his wife's grave, Riggs shares Christmas Day dinner with Murtaugh and his family. Actually shows up with the bullet that he was going to use to kill himself. He just told Rihanna to give it to her dad. Then Murtaugh comes running out like, where the fuck do you think you're going?
You're
gonna
gonna
come
eat
in.
some bad Christmas turkey with us.
Yeah, and then you're going to help me fix this fucking house that you drove that car through. He gives Murtaugh a hollow point bullet he has been saving to commit suicide as he no longer needs it. And then Elvis Presley starts singing, and that is our movie. What is your score?
My score is a rent it. And here's why. So I thought this movie was on Crave, which I have a subscription to. So I went to Crave and I pressed play, and then all of a sudden everybody's in French.
Mm.
And I'm like, qu'est-ce que c'est? What is this? No. So then I end up going to Prime, and it's there to rent or buy. $4.99 or $14.99 to buy.
Right.
I'm like, you know what? I'm a rent this. So I rented it for $4.99, and I am not mad about it. It was a very good rental. Would I have been mad if I bought it? Yes, because I don't see myself watching this many, many more times. It's not something I think I'm going to crave to watch. However, if I'm flipping through the channels on my regular TV, and it happens to be on, I'm more than happy to stop, but I don't think this is the kind of movie I would seek out. So I'm giving it a good solid rent it because it is a very good 1980s action film. Just ridiculous enough, just over the top enough, filled with action and some suspense, and you're following great chemistry from the main actors. Really, really great chemistry. It's amusing. I didn't laugh very hard, but I did chuckle. I did smile a lot. I did kind of giggle a little bit, but it wasn't a laugh out loud movie for me, but I enjoyed myself and I enjoyed watching it. So I think rent it. It's worth a rental. Also, it is a classic, and there are like 3 other movies you could watch. So I mean, it could be the great start of a good marathon.
Yeah.
What's your rating?
I would say I rented it. Same thing. I'm not going to pay. I don't know if I'd pay $15, but like if you go on Amazon right now, you can get a Blu-ray with all 4 of them on it for under $30, like $27 here or something like that. Or one's here for 16 for all 4 films on Blu-ray. Yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was very well done. It's very Christmassy. I would say buy it at a discount. I would watch this again. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be next Christmas or anything. But what this movie really made me want to do is watch the other Lethal Weapons, or other Mel Gibson movies, or other Danny Glover movies, or other action movies from the 80s. It was really well done. It was well acted, well directed, well written. The dialogue was a little wooden in some places, a little over dramatic here and there, but it was 1987.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between Danny Glover and Mel Gibson was phenomenal.
It's like what they did with those 2 characters.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you remember liking Lethal Weapon and you have not seen it again, I would definitely watch it. I would buy it. I wouldn't pay the $15 like you said.
Yeah.
But I would pay $25-$30 for a Blu-ray 4-pack. I would do
I
that.
I think I wanna watch the other Lethal Weapons before I commit to that.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I
Um,
like, this Lethal Weapon is fine. Like, it's good. It's a good movie. It's a good action movie from the '80s, and
yeah,
I think that in itself is a genre, and I'm like, you know what? This almost feels like the birth of the, like, kind of quirky buddy cop, like, action movie.
yeah.
This was not a comedy. It was an action movie that's funny,
Yes.
and I think in its later years and, all the following years, it kinda turned into a comedy with action. It's talked about as a comedy with action, and I feel like it's really important to say, "No, it's an action that's kinda funny."
Yeah, and this started a large buddy cop copycat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave birth to a lot of buddy cop movies. There were buddy cop movies before. I don't think not this good.
Yeah.
And for those listening, there is apparently next year there are all Lethal Weapons coming out on 4K.
Ooh.
4K, which yeah. So I don't know if I saw it like a collection and it was like a decent price, I would buy it. I will watch this again. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be next Christmas, but I will down the road watch it again, and it would probably be great, especially if you're in the mood for a Lethal Weapon marathon to have. Because again, I still haven't seen the other three in a long time,
Yeah.
but I do remember liking them too. So this was a
Um
good start.
Apparently there's a 5th coming out?
That was, I think, the last time that was mentioned, I think was like 2007 or 2009.
No, apparently it's been mentioned more recently.
Oh, how
There's
old
a
is Danny Glover?
there's
Jesus
a
Christ.
there's a deadline article apparently from September 25th.
Oh, I would
They
watch it,
asked
of
him
course.
apparently Mel Gibson is set to direct Lethal Weapon 5. Interesting.
Well, Danny Glover was born in 1946, so they better get going if that's what they want to do. But they did it with Beverly Hills Cop, the new one that came out. They brought back all the older guys. He died
Yeah.
shortly after it was made, but so
I mean, but at least he got to be in it.
yeah. And Chris Rock was in it, so you could probably bring him back. And
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
I would too.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with a 60-year-old and a 70-year-old, but Mel Gibson still looks pretty good.
He does.
Like he's got
He
that
does.
gray beard and everything, but yeah, he still looks like he could probably kick someone's ass.
Yeah. I think it's the alcohol.
Yeah,
Is he sober now?
could be. I don't know.
Or was he sober for like 10 minutes and then he was like, that's enough?
I don't know. He's making a lot more movies now. I know that.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, because he did his Hollywood penance.
Yeah.
You know, when you're super anti-Semitic and racist and terrible, all you have to do is go low key for a bit, do something super artsy, get accolades for that, and then everything is forgotten and you can just go back to doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hollywood.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
This is
No.
why whenever people are like, oh my God, you don't want to get canceled, I'm like, cancel culture is a myth.
Yeah.
Nobody actually ever gets canceled.
No. Well, unless you're Harvey Weinstein.
That's different. He didn't
Jeffrey
get
Epstein.
canceled. He's kind of getting. I'm sure he's getting canceled a lot in prison.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein, he definitely got canceled.
He got canceled real
He
good.
got super canceled.
No, this year I gotta watch Fat Man. I was saying that earlier about the Santa Claus one. I haven't seen it for a couple of years now. So good. I think I'm gonna watch that one again.
I have not seen it at all, so I also looked it up and I was like, oh, let me watch that.
Yeah.
Also, I think I might make myself go see Red One.
Oh, it got bad reviews.
I know
So
it
many
got
bad.
terrible reviews.
But I've seen movies where they got bad, and yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's not that bad. I don't know this
No.
one, but
We'll find out.
yeah,
We'll find. I might suck it up and go see it.
I think I have to go see Moana too.
Yeah, you do, sucker. You know, I've never actually seen Moana.
It's actually pretty funny.
I believe it. I believe it. Like Disney's been doing better with making it funny and entertaining for the adults too.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson. I like Mel Gibson. Again, I don't know him, but I really like his movies. His movies are fantastic.
He is a very talented man.
Yes. Yeah.
We can give him props for that.
Because I was looking at IMDb, there weren't a lot of that sucks in his
No,
bio.
it's true. It's true.
Mostly, even his worst movies are not that bad.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah.
And I mean, nobody can deny that.
No.
He's
And it shows here.
talented.
He's very charismatic, very talented, very fun. Yeah, Lethal Weapon. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I would buy it.
I had fun watching it. I
would buy it as honestly, I don't think I'd buy it singular. I would buy it in a collection. Give me a collection at a decent price. I will buy it. Yeah.
Well, if they had the collection for like $10 on DVD, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Actually, give me a second here, because I think that's what I just saw. The collection for the DVD, $15 for all 4 movies.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's less than $5 a movie. It's like 3 something each. Yeah. I would go Blu-ray or 4K, but
none of my TVs are that fancy.
if you don't have the equipment to do it, it's not worth it.
It's like shit. Sometimes I plug in my like DVD drive, my CD DVD drive into my laptop, and that's how I watch my DVDs.
Wow.
I do have separate DVD players, but none of my TVs are that nice.
Yeah, they're not that expensive. It is Black Friday.
I know.
Get yourself a nice 50-inch.
We have TVs, but I'm still my new computer monitor. My second monitor is fancier than the TV that
TVs?
I have.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm like, well, we have like smart TVs and whatever, but they're not like 4K. They're
I know. I've got
about it.
Yeah, I've got one that's like a 4K, and it's all right. It's fine. It works. I would not set up a 4K player and like a Dolby Atmos thing to it. It would not be worth it to watch it on there.
And like my off-brand TVs are just fine the way.
Yeah, I do have a 4K, a nicer one up, a mid-range one upstairs. That's that I think is going to become a 4K player. We shall see. All right, so thank you for coming back to 1987 and looking at Lethal Weapon with us. And we have one rent it and one buy it as a collection.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.